Every day we set out to achieve goals. From our workplaces to our businesses to our personal life, even family life and all, we set out to achieve goals. But sometimes the reason why some people achieve their goals and others do not achieve their goals is one, because of the kind of goals we set and the way we set the goals. The purpose of this is supposed to take us through setting goals the smart way. And when I talk about smart, it's SMART. Smart goals is just initials that have been propounded to help anybody who wants to achieve goals have their goals become specific. That's what the S stands for. Have their goals become measurable. Have the goals become attainable. Have the goals become realistic. And have the goals become time-bound. Smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Someone might be in business and decide that this year I want to have considerable amount of success in my business. And so you set out, you are looking out for success in business. Now when you set a goal like I want to have success in business, one of the things we understand is that it's not specific, it's not measurable. We don't even know whether it is attainable or not. There was no time set for it. And we don't even know whether it's realistic. What do we mean by setting a goal which is specific? What do we mean by making your goal measurable? What do we mean by looking at it being attainable? What do we mean by making the goal realistic? And what do we mean by setting time specific? Specific. What SMART goals intend to do is to help you strike or clarify the difference between I want to be a millionaire and I want to earn $10,000 a month for the next 10 years selling A or B product to A or B group of people. These two goals are not the same. I want to be a millionaire and I want to make $10,000 each month in the next 10 years selling A or B product to A or B people. Now when we talk about making your goals specific, we are talking about giving clarity to your goals. Not just saying that you want to become successful in business, not just saying that you want to have customers for your business, by making it specific by saying that this year I want to increase my customer base from say 1,000 to 10,000. Or let me break it down. If your business is a small business and maybe you are serving almost about 50 customers a year, you may want to increase your customer base from maybe 50 to 200. That is more specific than saying I want to increase my customer base. Now, let me take you through a few of the things that can guide you in being able to make your goals specific. First of all, ask yourself, what do you want to do? What exactly do you want to do? What do you want to do in the sense that if you are into services, what service do you want to render to people? Again, ask yourself, where do you want to render the service? Ask yourself when do you want to achieve that particular target or goal you have set for that service or for that product you intend to roll out. Ask yourself how are you going to get this done? How are you going to achieve this goal? How are you going to achieve this target? Another question you may want to ask yourself is, with whom? Most of the time, I realize that we are not able to achieve our goals because we don't pay attention to the team or the kind of people we are going to work with. If you study the business model canvas very well, you realize that there's a part where we have key partners. If you are in delivery services, you may want to look at transportation, you may want to look at major suppliers, you may want to look at your customers. So if you are setting your goals to achieve a particular target or a certain target, maybe by the end of this year, by the end of the month, or by the end of a quarter, then you may be thinking about with whom are you going to be able to achieve the goal? When are you going to achieve that goal? What are you going to do to be able to achieve the goal? Where are you going to even achieve your goal? If you are operating in a small region and you seek to reach other regions of the city with your product or your service, then it is bringing you to the point where you are looking at other locations. So making your goal specific moves beyond just giving a vague description, but giving a specific, a direct, and a description that you can always follow. So think about your business. Think about your goal. Think about what you do, your service, your product. Think about where you want to move it from where you are now. Make that goal specific. Think about when, think about where, think about how, think about what, and think about with whom. Being able to go through these processes, you should be able to write something down. We are going to look at making your goal measurable. When we talk about making your goal measurable, we are referring to the physical manifestations that you will see. That would be a teller, or that would be something that will make you know that you have been able to achieve your goal. That's what we mean by making it measurable. Let me give you an example. If you set out that you want to lose weight, making your goal measurable isn't anything about, okay, when I lose weight, I'll become happy. Becoming happy is not a physical manifestation which will let you see that you have lost weight. Because, you see, sincerely, you can also be happy even without losing the weight. But to make your goal very specific, you can tell yourself that I will become happier when I lose 5 kg by the next 2 months. That's more measurable. So while you are going through the good eating habits, the healthy dieting, the consistent exercising, and all the many other things that you'll be doing to lose the weight, all you are looking forward to is the 5 kg you have decided to lose. So losing 5 kg through the healthy dieting, the exercises, and all the other things that you had to do to lose is much more measurable than just saying that when you lose weight, you'll be happier. Let me give you another example. For a business that is into direct sales and wants to increase revenue or sales from 5,000 to 10,000, it can be dollars, and you can convert it to any of the currencies that you are used to. But let me use dollars for the purpose of this course. For a business that wants to increase revenue or sales from $5,000 to $10,000, setting a measurable goal would mean that if, for instance, now your monthly revenue is $5,000 and you want to increase it by a margin of, say, 20% by the end of the next month, your measurable goal will then be how many sales you have to make to be able to make that profit, that or the revenue that you seek to have. How many customers do you have to serve? How many products have to go out? How many services do you have to offer or render? What are the things you are supposed to do to see that this becomes attainable? That's certain measurable goals. So for instance, if by selling 10 packs of your product, you are going to be able to make the extra 5,000 to make it 10,000 by the next month, then you are going to set your goals by looking at increasing your sales by 5 packs. And that is when you achieve that you'll be able to tell yourself that you have been able to achieve the goal you set out to achieve. Again, let me give you another example. If you are in the services, and currently the people that come in for your services are only 10, and over the period there's only 10 people you are serving, and then you want to increase your customer base or your client base by say 15 and move from 10 to 25, that is more measurable. So you set yourself a target, say by the next 3 months, I want to increase the people I serve or the people we are able to serve from 10 to 25 by 7, 15 more. That is more measurable. And it is more specific because you didn't just say, I want to increase my clients or customer base, but you made it more specific by making it 15. And it's more measurable because once you're able to hit that target of 25, which is 15 plus the existing 10, being able to achieve this goal. That is what we mean by making your goal measurable. We've already talked about making your goal specific and making it measurable. We are going to talk about making your goal attainable. Now this is very important to me because a lot of the times, well, it's good to set high goals. I mean, sometimes, when you listen to a lot of motivational speakers, they tell you that your dream has to scare you, your dream has to be bigger than you. Trust me, there's nothing wrong with that. But we are going to look at how we are going to make that big dream, that scary dream, become attainable. Paying attention to the resources we have, the time we have available, the costs that is involved, and everything that it takes. Now, let me issue a disclaimer. The fact that if you check your resources, the cost, the time, and everything you have, and you realize that you may not be able to achieve a goal, doesn't mean that the goal is not achievable. So when we look at making your goal attainable, we are looking at bearing in mind all the factors that come into making the goal attainable or achievable, and looking at how you are going to make that happen. So let's say you want to get into a delivery service. I don't know why I like delivery service, but well, let's use that as an example. Let's say you want to get into delivery services and you have only one bike or maybe only one car or only one vehicle, something that you use for the delivery. But you want to reach other joints and increase number of clientele, which will demand that you will need more than the one bike or more than the one car. But all you have is one. To make your goal attainable, you could look at either partnering or looking to expand the number of fleets or the cars or the bikes you have, which is also possible. So making your goal attainable doesn't only mean that when you look at yourself and you look at your business and you look at the resources, you look at the cost involved, and you look at the time in hand, you are not going to be able to achieve that goal. No, that is not what it means. Now let's get deep into this. One of the questions I want you to ask yourself right now is that, where am I? What do I have? What can I do? And let me give you an example that one of my mentors gave me. One day he walks up to me and asks me, Mark, what can you do? What can you teach? What can you offer to people which will be a problem solver for some issues, some challenge, some questions, something they have? And even if you are not paid for, you can really do it and do it well that people may be willing to pay for it. Think about it. Take your business through that. Take your venture through that. Take your service through that. What are you offering your customers? What are you offering people that they will always be willing to come and come again? Now let's bring it into attainable goal. What are you going to offer your customers in this era or after this course that will make them always come and come again? Look at the resources you have. Look at if you are into things that require that you have gadgets, look at the gadgets, equipment, engineering staffs. If you are into services, look at your staff. Look at the time you have. Look at the time you operate. Look at all the factors that go into your production. Look at all the factors that go into the offering of your services. And look at how far the factors you have now will be able to reach. If you are working alone in your venture and you need to reach many more people that you alone cannot reach, What then does it take for you to be able to reach that target you have set? That you made it more specific, you made it more measurable. How will you make it attainable? Do you need to employ another person? Do you need to outsource a section of your business to someone who is already into that? So for instance, if you need good packaging to be able to reach and make your product attractive, you need to outsource the packaging or the branding to someone who is a packaging or branding expert, so that the person will give you something very good that you can use for your product? Or do you need to also look at employing someone who has that skill to come and do that? That's how we make our goals attainable. So you need to now sit down. I want you to take a pen and paper, and in the worksheet that I have provided, write down all the factors, write down all your resources. Give yourself time. How much time do you have? What can you do, you yourself? If you run the business yourself, what do you do? What can you do? If someone else runs the business, if you only manage, if you are in the account section, whatever you do, you can even do this for your own career. You can do this at your workplace. What do you have? How much time do you have? What can you do now? What can you do later? That's how you make your goals attainable. Until you are able to put this down and focus on it, it becomes very difficult to be able to do it. And I'll use my business as an example. For quite some time now, we've been thinking about, moving our trainings and our programs online. Because, sometimes as the years go by, people become more and more busy. There are online courses everywhere, even online investees, pre-investees everywhere and there. And people don't have that much time to come and sit and listen to you. But we needed to now analyze and look at what we have now, what we can work on, what we need to get, how we need to set up, what we need to be able to achieve, and all of that, to be able to set our programs and our trainings online. And it took a while, but because we're able to set that goal, we're able to roll it out. So now look deep into your business. And let me tell you something, everything that comes to mind, write it down. It is good to write it down, because while you write it down, you can go through again, and there are some of them you can just cross out. There are some of them you can push back. There are some of them you realize that you will be able to do it now. Some of them you realize that you have to give yourself 2 months. A few of them you realize that you have to give yourself 5 years to be able to achieve it. To make your goal attainable, look at the factors. Look at what you have. Look at what you do not have. Look at what you need, and make sure you set all that together. In the first 3 modules, we looked at making your goal specific, making it measurable, making it attainable. These things are just to guide you to be able to set goals that are smart enough for you to be able to achieve at the end of the day. I want you to ask yourself, this goal that you are setting, is it relevant to you? Do you really want to run a multinational company? Do you want to have a business that is not only serving people within your locality, but is reaching other regions as well? Do you want to have financial freedom? Do you want to get out of lack into abundance? Do you want to increase your sales from 1,000 to 5,000? Is it relevant at all? These are questions you need to ask yourself before you set the goal. Do I need it? Will it be relevant to me? What will an extra dollar do to me? If you are able to answer these questions, you are closer and closer to being able to set a smart goal. Let's look at it being realistic. When I discussed making your goal specific, I gave you an example saying that I want to be a millionaire, or I want to make $10,000 selling a product to B customers. These are 2 different things we have said. The second is smart, the other is just vague. But is the goal realistic? Is it relevant? Is it something we will be able to achieve? Is it something we really want to achieve? Let's look at our business. let's look at our business model. And you know, every business has its own business model it's operating with. For instance, I know a business that operates only online. What they do is that they generate the products, they brand the products, but they only put the products online. So you go to their online store, their online shop, their online platform, you pick the products you have, the reviews are there for you, and then you just order. And then once you do the order and you make the payment, delivery is done. That is one business model. There are some businesses who also have shops. You walk to the shop, you look at the products that are all there, you select the one you want, and then you are good to go. So the question is, in the kind of goal that you are setting, look at your business model. If it's a personal goal, look at your life. If it's a career goal, look at where you are now. Look at your career path. If it's a relationship goal, look at your relationship status, your relationship life now. If it's a marital or a family goal, financial goal, whatever your goal is, ask yourself, is this goal relevant? Based on where I want to get to in the next 1 year, based on what we want to do as a business by the next 10 years, based on how far we want to reach in the next 6 months, based on the revenue we want to make in the next 7 months, based on the sale we want to have in the next 2 years, based on the profit we want to make in the next 3 months, is this goal relevant? Do we have to pursue this goal? Do we have to set out to achieve this goal? Do we have to map out strategy for this goal? Do we have to plan for this goal? Do we have to employ resources for this goal? Sometimes people set out to set goals, desire to do things, and eventually you realize that we get miserable along the line because we didn't ask ourselves the right questions. So before you even set out, ask yourself these questions. Is it relevant? Do I need it? What will it do to the business? What new thing will it introduce to the business? What will the milestone, being able to achieve this milestone, do for us? And once you are able to answer these questions, you are good to go. Let me start with this. Have you heard of the popular statement, time is money? Time is money. Well, recently I got a different meaning to that. I realized that time is money because time can be converted into knowledge. So let me give you just a very typical example. For anybody who has gone to college or university, you spend between 3 to 4 years, sometimes 6 to 7 years of college degree, and you acquire the knowledge, the skill, and the training, and then you come out with that degree, and then you're able to work or function in that field. So that is time converted into knowledge or skill, which eventually will generate money for you. That is why time becomes a very important element in all of life's endeavor. I realize that people who have good command over time, or respect for time, or great management for time are always able to achieve their goals, achieve their targets, and able to meet any target you set for them. Now that is the last element in the SMART goals. Time. Time bound. Timely. In all the examples we have used in the 4 modules we have dealt with, you realize that each example I give it a time bound. It can be within the next 1 month. It can be within the next quarter. It can be within the next 6 months. It can be within the next 1 year. It can even be within the next 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. So your goals can either be short term or long term. There are some goals, when you set them, you need to achieve them now. And there are some goals, you set them for a long-term benefit. It's important that while you are setting your goals and you are looking at your goals becoming SMART, you are looking at it being time-bound. One of the things I've realized is that in about 99% of the time, people who are able to set SMART goals, making it time-bound, are usually able to achieve it. Now here's the catch. Sometimes you may not be able to achieve or attain that goal by the set time you set. But by that time, you would have been able to do something considerably measurable, which would have set you on a particular level higher than where you were before you set that goal. So let's start now. Let's go through all the goals we have set. Let's begin to give it time. If it is revenue you wanted to increase, sales you wanted to increase, customer you wanted to attain more or retain more, if it is personal financial goals you have, if it is business goals, your career goals, give it a time. Now here's the thing, you may not be in the position to be able to achieve them now, but give it a time, give it a realistic time, give it an attainable time, make your time measurable. Look at yourself. When do you want to achieve this? When do you want to do this? When do you want to buy this? When do you want to have this? By when do you want to do this? Every goal has to be time bound. Every goal. And once you are able to do this, you realize that your goal becomes smart enough. Something you can always pick and look at, measure yourself and see where you are and know where next you have to go. Thank you. Now that we've been able to go through all these models, I want you to take some time and go through all your businesses. Set goal for each of the streams of income and streams of business you have. All the business models. If you have multiple businesses, set goals for each of them. Set goal for your financial life, your own personal financial life. Set goal for your family. If it's a church, religious body, set goal for your religious body. Everything that you have to do, everything that you are setting out to do, make these goals smart. And let's see how far we'll be able to reach.